All right, we're going to get this started. Sorry, we're about 5 minutes behind time. My name is Mike Kelly, for those of you that don't know me in the room here, which is everybody here. Those of you that don't know me that are on Zoom, I'm also Mike Kelly. I'm the Community Resource Officer for the City of Manteca. My full-time job is dealing with the homeless and implementing a lot of the projects and stuff that we have going on through our city. So again, I am only on this microphone so the people on the internet and the recordings later can hear me. Otherwise, I talk pretty loud. We'll start off here with our first slide. The purpose of the summit is to inform the residents of Manteca what's being done every day. This isn't about look at us, look what we've done. It's about what we're doing and what needs to be done. And we're going to cover both of those sections today as what we do within the city. We want to also encourage residents, organizations, people to get involved. This is not just the city of Manteca. This is it's got to be a team effort, not a one-man show. That's how we've been so successful. So a lot of our goals is mobilizing the homeless resources by, underlining the faith base. We just got our faith base outreach back up every other Tuesday, which is kind of dwindling away a little bit. We've only been getting a small participant. We need to kind of pump that up a little bit. And we're working on that. We have some really good people working on that. We want to identify the gaps in the resources. We don't want to make sure we're doing the same thing and we're missing the gaps of that are being missed. We want to make sure we're identifying them and we're addressing them. We want to create a resource list to connect the needs. Cecily has got us a resource card. They were printed up. So we have some over on the table. So anybody that wants to grab one when you leave, you're welcome to grab it. Thank you, Cecily, for that. I appreciate that. And make sure that when those resources are just to make sure that you're connected into the right resource in the right place. This isn't just about, hey, we look what we did, or this is about these are people and these groups are who are out there doing the job and handling. We talked about some of our things about having start the cleanup days in Manteca. So we'll have, instead of they have the Love Manteca, we want to do that more monthly. So we have a monthly clean Manteca. We love Manteca. So I don't know, we haven't decided what we're going to call it, but we haven't implemented it yet. But we're talking about doing it so that way that people can want to volunteer on a Saturday and kind of get involved. It's going to be more about getting involved and helping them clean up areas. We can target certain parts of town where the necessary problems are at. Our Tuesday outreach, again, we want to grow those outreaches. The outreach, every other Tuesday, we have services. We have mental health, medical staff, providers. We have the school district, Manteca Unified School District coming out. But we want to grow that a little bit, as well as every other Tuesday, we have the faith-based group that goes out as well. So that's important to make sure we grow that. I just want to make sure before I forget, there's Bielka over there, Wave Bielka. She is the one that did my PowerPoint. I am not very savvy on this kind of stuff, so I cannot take credit for this PowerPoint. So thank you, Bielka. She's my right-hand woman over there. Without her, this wouldn't look as nice. The background would be white. It would be pretty generic, and it would be pretty plain. So our next slide is we want to talk about, it takes everybody to do the job. It's not it's not just the city of Manteca. Mike Kelly can't come out here and do everything. I have been successful in what I do because of the people that surround me in the city, the organizations, and everybody that's getting involved. This isn't, it's like, oh, you're doing a good job. I am not doing a good job. The city of Manteca is doing a good job. The citizens, the organizations, and everybody around. So I've been surrounded by some really good people. I appreciate that. The other thing is, next thing we're going to talk about a little bit is the help versus the hurt. Feeding, donations, and the park. We want to encourage people to feed at our resource center. We have a tent. We have a place to go donate clothes. We have a place to go donate food. feeding people in the park. I'm not trying to be, I'm not a guy that's trying to say, hey, I don't want to feed the homeless, but we want to encourage them to leave that park and go to the resource center, get showers, get cleaned up, get clean clothes, so that maybe when they're clean, they're like, hey, maybe today's the day I want to go ahead and change my life. Not just sitting in the park eating and people are dropping clothes off and they don't have to leave the park. We're enabling them to stay in certain parks and certain locations and not have to leave there. So we want to encourage them to go to the resource center. And then again, donations to effective locations. We have His Way now down at the tent that will accept donations. We also have Hope Chest. Thank you. I'm getting old. That's not a joke. that's the truth. But we also have the Hope Chest, who's been very helpful to us through the years. They will give blankets. His Way needs them. They will help you guys out as well. I highly recommend the tent or over there if you want to donate. If a homeless person comes up and says, hey, I need an outfit, they're soaking wet, I can refer them to the tent, or I can refer them over, hey, here's my business card. They go over there and they get the clothes for free. It doesn't cost them anything. Duplicating services without resourcing. Some of the things that we've done, and we've done a really good job through the past probably, I think I've been doing this 7 or 8 years now, is everybody was kind of doing the same thing. Churches were coming out, people were getting involved, and everybody was kind of doing the same thing, either feeding or doing clothes, giving clothes away. There's more to outreach than just feeding people and giving them clothes. We need to get them either right, off drugs, mental health, whatever it takes to get them to the next level. So we've been coming together and filling and bridging those gaps. There's many more gaps to bridge, but that's some of the things that we've been working on and trying to prepare to help us keep going and moving in the right direction. We have the previous success due to faith-based. COVID really took it out of us because a lot of the churches shut down during COVID. So we lost our faith-based outreach. Again, we just got it started a month ago. We got some of the churches back involved. We want to get them back, more churches involved. We need to get everybody back because with that group doesn't go out and evaluate people for mental health. That group doesn't go out and evaluate for medical needs. That group, all they do is they go out and they pray for them. They talk to them. They get to know them. They know them by first name. And again, like I said, going out there and talking to some of these people have some issues, some real big issues, whether it's a home life, drugs, mental health, and maybe whatever it is, it takes that one time to trigger like, hey, I'm done. I need to get out of here. Manteca has taken a lot of people off the streets and either reunified them with their families or have taken them and got them into programs. A lot of people have been off the streets in the city of Manteca because of the faith-based and because of our services and the approach that we take. We want to get back to being the model. We need to be all in, everybody. Again, churches, all the groups, everybody involved. We were the model for a long time. We still kind of are the model. There's been a lot of cities that have contacted me through the last probably 4 or 5 years asking how we handle this. What are you doing? How are you so successful in this portion that you handle with the homeless? Again, it's because we have a good group of people. We have our faith base. We have people working hard in our city and giving us everything they got to make it successful. So again, without everybody in Manteca, I'm going to struggle. I have nothing. When COVID hit, again, I struggled because we didn't have cleanup crews. We didn't have, our faith base out praying for the people. We didn't have nobody talking to them. So we had people on the streets literally just doing drugs, and that was their life, and that's where they were at. And now that we're coming back out of that, there's a little bit of cleanup to do, but we're on the right track to get out of that. Resource outreach. Again, I just covered a little bit ago. Every other Tuesday at 9 a.m., various resource groups, they come out. That's the services. We have Community Medical Center, San Joaquin Behavioral Health. We have Love Inc., Second Harvest, Salvation Army. And there's a couple more, honestly, but there's so many different entities that some people come this week, some people don't come, some come. I may have missed you. If I missed you, I apologize. It's not intentional. Um, and again, if anybody wants to join, all you have to do is show up at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, right in front of the city council chambers, and that's where we meet. We go out every Tuesday, whether it's the services or the faith-based. If you don't know, you want to know which one to get on. If you're with a service, I would go with the services. If you're wanting to go out there and pray with them, go with the faith-based. So that way you're within the right group. There was a little bit of a conflict with some of the churches and some of the services because we'd go out to a tent and there'd be 2 homeless people sitting there and 35 people come walking up to a tent. Well, it's a little intimidating if you're the homeless guy in the tent, like, hey, I don't want to talk to any of you. Now you got the services that all want to do their job because they're getting paid to go out and make sure that the mental health or the medical and all that needs to be done. And the churches are like, hey, wait, what about us? We want to pray for them. So that's why we separated it so that we have more days and we have more people getting services. Our focus is on the resources and the needs of the unsheltered people that are out there. And we need to make sure that we're addressing that. I also deal with a lot of prevention as well. I've had several calls from family members that, hey, my son is on drugs or my child, and I don't know what to do. So I've met with the families. I sit down with them because I think prevention is probably just as important as dealing with somebody that's on the street. If I can catch them before they hit the streets, then it really makes my job a little easier than I having to deal with them when they've been strung out on drugs for a year or so. The faith base again. Sorry, I'm like way ahead on my PowerPoint here. I'm sorry, Bielka's PowerPoint. Every other Tuesday, 9 o'clock in the morning. Attach yourself to whatever one you want to go to. If you want to join, if you don't want to join, that's fine. It's your prerogative. But again, it's going to take everybody to work this out and keep Manteca. I know people want to compare us to other cities. We've been compared to Ripon a lot. Hey, Ripon doesn't have a homeless issue. Well, Ripon's probably a third or quarter of the size of Manteca. They haven't grown to our portion of where we're at right now. Manteca is growing. We have growing pains. We're trying to figure it out, and but we're not Stockton. So if you want to compare, we're not Stockton. The city efforts. You can see our tent up over there. The unsheltered emergency center that we have. It started off with just when I first started this position, it started off just trying to coordinate showers every Tuesday. So we got the shower trailer up and we went church to church. People would come, the homeless would get picked up. They'd go over and get a shower once a week on a Tuesday, and then they would get dropped back off where they came from. We have now come to the point now we have an emergency shelter, the emergency center that we're working on that I'll get to his way when we get to that slide, is in a transition of taking over, and we're working on all that. We have the citywide cleanup. Right now, the city is contracted with Intercity to do the cleanups of the city. We have city employees doing it. We also have AWP on Saturdays that goes out and does cleanup as well. So there's a constant cleanup through the city of Manteca. I'll cover that in another slide. Enforcement. We do special enforcement evenings to where we're having to address quality of life crimes. So if there's a quality of life crime, we will do special enforcement operations to make sure that we address any kind of crimes that may be happening in that area. We've been researching and touring navigation centers. Myself and a bunch of the city staff, the city manager, city council, we travel to various cities, and we've been looking at different models as to what to bring to Manteca and what we want what's best for the city. We kind of put a lot together. We didn't just say, hey, this is our one model. This is what we want to do. We kind of put all the goods from a lot of the different ones that we looked at and said, this is the model that we like, and this is what we're kind of following with what we have here. I personally went down, me and 2 other people went down and worked for a few days with Anaheim Police Department. We worked on how they were doing addressing their homeless issue. They have a huge homeless problem down there. How they're coordinating with their navigation center, how they're working with keeping the people out of high populated areas. And we brought some of that back with us back to the city of Manteca. The navigation center, I kind of touched on that. The city is in the process of the navigation center. The city received funds. The city has done things to make sure that that can be built. And the city is also looking at affordable housing. Affordable housing is another portion that the city is working on. That's kind of really not my gig, but it's on the slide and I just said it. So, sorry. I mean, it's important, but it's not really my gig. I'm the homeless guy. City of Manteca, inner city action. The cleanup crew is cleaning up. They started with cleaning up just the downtown. The city contracted with them just to come in and clean up the downtown area, and then it worked into cleaning all of the city up. So when we have issues, a shopping cart. If I see somebody pushing a shopping cart down the street, I stop them. I make them take the stuff out of the shopping cart, and they'll come pick up the shopping cart. If there's trash left behind when we move them along from a camp or somebody leaves trash behind, we take and we will call them. They'll come and they'll clean it up. The crew right now consists of one full-time, and they'll send some volunteers occasionally to give them a hand. They spend roughly about 40 hours a week handling this. It's a huge help with the city of Manteca because without that cleanups being done every day, we would look really rough in town. You would be surprised on how much trash that gets picked up every day around the city. Here's some photos. This is kind of a slide from some of the numbers I got last year from our garbage or refuse department. There was over 40 tons of trash picked up in 1 year. This is not necessarily all the homeless stuff either. This is people from dumping a couch on the side of the road or dumping furniture, dumping garbage. It happens more frequently than not. Again, this is a part of the program that we have worked with getting this cleaned up with that under that 40 hours. It's not just inner city that's cleaning up. The city crews have got people out cleaning up. Our city looks good for a reason because it is being addressed. It's not, I mean, you can see on that picture on the left right there that that's what it looks like sometimes along the railroad tracks in an alley, but it is being cleaned up and we're not going to let it get bad like that. We want to address it before it gets bad like that. His way. His way is the new operators of the emergency shelter. They're in transition over at 555 Industrial Park right now. We're working with them. The showers are available. They're feeding 3 meals a day. They're out there working their little butts off, cleaning clothes and the laundromat that they got set up out there. They have hygiene products, pet food, supplies. There's kennels out there. And I believe there's case management. Am I right? And we have case management. They also have their own program, kind of like Inner City had. They have their own intake program. So people want to get off the streets. It's not just where they're operating the navigation center. There's actually a place that if people want to rehabilitate themselves, that they are willing to take them into their program and also get them rehabilitated as well. They've been doing a really good job. I've heard some really good reviews. And when I go out there in the morning, the breakfast always smells really good. So I haven't eaten it, but it smells good. This is one of our providers that comes out, Manteca Unified. They come out and they do weekly, daily outreaches. They do it with us. They'll do some of it on their own. They're dealing with the kids that are out there. There's not a lot of children on the streets per se, but there's more kids that are like living in motels, couch surfing, and they're also a resource for us. So if we do find a child or a mother, or if they find somebody, they contact me and they tell me, hey, look, this is what we got. This is where we're at. We need your help. So we kind of tag team any kind of child issues together. Just remember, it's not against the law to be homeless, not against the law to be homeless with your children. But providing they have the right things for the children, people think that, hey, that those children should be taken away. It's not that easy. If they're homeless, it's not against the law, even if they have their children with them. But they're meeting the right criteria to have that child. Yeah, they do the birth certificates, DMV, ID cards, low-income child care referrals. Kids need computers. They give them computers. If they need transportation, they also do the transportation for the kids. So if we have to put somebody in a shelter, say they go to Cecily over here, and we they'll modify and they'll send buses to pick up the child from the school. This is an old picture. This is our outreach. This is our mental health. A lot of our mental health. You can see, well, inner cities out there on that one. You have mental health. Like I said, mental health is is this thing cutting in and out? Just me not being consistent. Hello? Anyway, so mental health uh, has been a big asset. They're good. They've been on the streets. We recently have just got lined up with mobile crisis team coming to Manteca every Tuesday. So it's not just homeless people now that are going to be addressed. We have people that maybe are having issues in their houses, that maybe an officer goes to a house and they need some assistance. They're not 5150 where we can take them to mental health. They don't meet their criteria, but they need some follow-up. So mental health is now coming, the mobile crisis unit is coming every Tuesday to Manteca, and we have a running list that we will run every week, and we go follow up with them. Maybe they need their medication. Maybe they need some help with whatever it is. A lot of the people are homeless, but it's not just homeless. We're dealing with people in the community as well. Great program. Love Inc. Love Inc. has been a great resource. Again, it's an old picture, so I see your look on your face. That's an old picture. I think yours is an old picture too. But Love Inc. has been a great resource. They've been there to help. We need to send somebody back to reunify them with their families. They've been there to help assist with reunification, whether it's a bus ticket, plane ticket, train ticket, whatever it is, they've been there to help as well. They've been a really big asset for us. Community medical centers, they have grown a lot. That's in front of your office. Remember, a couple of these pictures are old. Nobody sent me new pictures. So community medical, or CareLink Community Medical Centers, they started with us and they've been with us for quite a while. They have grown. So now they're sending out PAs every other Tuesday. So we're actually getting a doctor to come out and see the patients. They give them the referrals to their medical appointments if they need an appointments for further follow-up, which some of them do. And they make sure if they need Medi-Cal, any insurance issues, they also assist them with that as well. Salvation Army, they join us. They're hit and miss. They haven't really been with us for like the last month. Evidently, they're up there feeding at the fires, so they've been kind of tied up at the fires, and so they haven't really been around the last month. But they joined us a year or two ago, and they do all those things right there. It's too little for me to read way over there, so I got to turn around. And again, and this goes for all of them. The established trust within the community. You got to. The homeless have to trust you. When we go out and talk to them in the morning, I've been dealing with her. I take it for granted sometimes, but they trust you. They trust that you're going to who you are, what you're saying you're doing. Once you build that trust with them, they start opening up and they start giving you what they need. I have a gentleman right now that I'm dealing with that has a bad leg. He's fighting. Well, he can barely walk right now. So I finally met medical staff. He let them look at his leg, and yeah. So we're dealing with that. They have in their van, it's like a mobile office, so they can print stuff up. They can help them file for paperwork. They can help them get some of the resources that they need right online. They have case managers that show up, community partners. Like I said, we all kind of work together. They work with the COC. I am part of the COC as well. I am on that board. I'm hoping that somebody here will want to volunteer to take my position at some point. Sorry, I was looking at you, Cecily. But yeah. Is it not good? Yo. All right. Switching to Salvation Army. Hope Family Shelters. You. This is a great resource. This is for families, mothers and children. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's fathers as well and children. You have to have a child to enter in the program. You have in the program you have to test clean for drugs. Yes. You want to speak on this? I'd be more than happy to have you speak on this. Let's let Cecily talk about this. Some coffee for anyone.
All right. So yeah, Hope Family Shelters services 23 families at a time. We have 2 emergency shelters. One of them is a single mom with kids. And then the other shelter that's pictured here is the family shelter where we service married mom, dad, and kids, as well as one of the only shelters in Northern California that services single dads with kids. You do need to test clean to get in. However, if you come in and you're letting us know that you're struggling with addiction, we're all about wanting to be there to serve you. And so if you're honest and you're saying, hey, I'm struggling with marijuana, we'll go ahead and let you in the shelter. However, your stay will be contingent upon testing clean in 30 to 40 days. We want to come alongside these individuals who are struggling with addiction and really let them know that they can be successful. We've seen them be successful. We've got a great success rate for that. Some of the harder drugs, such as, meth, some of the harder ones, again, we let them know, hey, if you test dirty today, we can't bring you into the shelter. But in 3 days from now, you might test clean. So come back, we'll do the test then, and then we'll get you in. And again, because of our supportive services and resourcing those individuals out to additional supportive services, we have seen so much success. So it's a little frustrating because we are considered a high barrier shelter, but we do everything in our power to make sure that that isn't the big hindrance that it sounds like it could be. You can stay 90 to 180 days in the emergency shelter. From there, if you have proven to really be working hard, working with your case manager, then you can go on and potentially stay at our transitional shelter, which is up to another 18 months or so. And so that really gives those individuals the opportunity to further search for housing. We're really excited. We actually had one single mom who came out of that program who just purchased a home last month. So it's awesome to see the possibilities of what it means to come alongside these individuals and encourage them to get out of what they're stuck in. And so between case management, workshops, and then the last piece is the mental health support. That's huge. That runs the course of our program. Besides being faith-based, we also provide one-on-one mental health support for every single individual that comes into our program, and that includes the kiddos. So we do have a 1,600 square foot wellness center for our kids. That's for the littles and for the preteens and teens. And so this is a holistic wraparound approach to helping our individuals and families find success, to break addiction, and to have every tool at their, available to them so that they are successful. Thank you, Mike.
Hear me? Is that better or good? All right. I get to talk with my hands. Much better. we get back to it, I want to see, if you guys want, would you like to talk a little bit about the His Way program? I'm going to get to you. I'll let you guys come up here and do a little speaking on that on behalf of what you guys are doing out there. But not just what I'm telling them, there's much more than what I even know, I'm sure. So, but I'm going to talk, we'll get to you guys in a little bit. Thank you, Cecily. Second Harvest has been a great help provider for us. I'm going to let His Way talk about that. Matter of fact, this might be a good segue for you guys to come up and talk about what Second Harvest has been doing for you and how they've been providing.
Thank you. Second Harvest was really so helpful at the start when we opened the tent up. As you know, yard and asked us to take over the tent, and we're going, wow, how are we going to feed everybody? Because all we had was, we have 11 recovery homes, so we have food for them. But I called Melissa Mays, and I'll tell you, the outpour of help that they gave us was phenomenal. She said, don't worry, come down, fill out the paperwork, and we're going to take care of you. So 2 days before we were scheduled to open up on the 1st of September, they had 10 pallets of all kinds of food, everything that you could possibly think of to get us started. So it was really, really a great help. And they continued to give us what we need. We just picked up another large order the other day. So it was just phenomenal. And we are serving gourmet meals, literally. We have a great chef. He's actually my nephew. And he knows how to cook, and he's just really whipping out some good meals. Everyone's invited to come down. We feed at supper time at 4:30. We invite you to come over and try it out. I think you'll be amazed. And we just continue to go forward. We're actually feeding now on an average of 35 to 40 people a day. And well, they're showering, although only about half of them are taking showers. We're trying to encourage them to get in and get showers. And then my wife, Sherry, handles the clothes departments. And once they shower, they get new clothes and clean clothes. We've set up our laundromat, so we wash the clothes daily, get them back on the rack. And any donations that you have or let anyone know, please bring them to the tent. We also need stuff for children. There was a family came in the other day that had some children. We didn't have anything, so my wife took the credit card and headed for Walmart. So those kids got to have brand new clothes, and that was just tremendous. Thank you for all your support and prayers. We really need it very much.
You're more man than me. I wouldn't give my wife my credit card. Sorry, this is recorded. I didn't think I forgot about that. Hope she's not watching. Hope she's not watching. If she is, I'm just kidding. All right. Thank you, Pastor. I appreciate that. Some of our future goals that we want to keep going and doing is create long-term goals, not just short-term goals, not just trying to put a Band-Aid on something that needs stitches. We want to fix the problem. We want to get to the root of it. We want to fix it. We want to involve more of the community. We need more people involved. Again, I keep reiterating that. It's because it takes an army. It doesn't take a couple people. It's going to take a lot of people to get this done. His Way running the tent. They have a lot of staff down there. They have a lot of good people down there, but they still need help. They need the resources. They need the community, the churches, the people that come down there help, wanting to feed. If you're going to feed, you want to feed, come down and help. Come feed. You want to come talk to the homeless, come down and pray with them down there. You want to come talk to them, come down to the tent, come down there and participate. That's the best place, the best resource that we can have. We want to get more people into programs, get them back with their families. You know, if we can get more people off the streets, the better our streets are going to look, and the better they're going to be. It's not just about what we see and what we don't see. We can go hide the homeless all day long, but we want to make sure we're helping them get on the right track. Remember, these people out there is somebody's mother, father, daughter, sibling, child. So these aren't just homeless people, they're somebody's loved ones. We want to put a little bit more into prevention. Prevention, again, like I said, I can't reiterate it enough. Prevention is just as important as dealing with the homeless on the streets. You lose somebody on the streets, we all have somebody in our families that are on the streets or know somebody or related somehow that we know somebody. I personally had a cousin that was homeless in Modesto, and 3 or 4 years ago, he was killed by a drunk driver on McHenry. He was walking down the street, homeless, and yeah, I have a huge family in Modesto. Christmas time, Thanksgiving time, they would say, "Hey, stay here tonight." He's like, "No, take me home." And everybody kind of giggled, like, "You don't live at home, you're on the streets." And my other cousin went to take him home, and when he was taking him home, he goes, "I live over that tree right there in the middle of that orchard." So I mean, we all have some kind of ties or relation to the homeless, whether you have a family member, a friend, somehow we know somebody that's related to. So it's important to remember who we're dealing with out there. It's somebody's family. What can the public do to help? What can you do? What do you want to do? If you are somebody that just wants to sit back and see what we're doing and listen to what we're doing, this is the meeting you want to be at. If you want to get involved, you show up on a Tuesday. Show up on a Tuesday, either the faith-based or the services. Come out and participate. My next thing is one of the biggest things I have trouble with is report a crime when you see it happening. If you see a crime happening, don't wait 2 or 3 days and call Mike Kelly and say, "Hey, I saw a homeless guy over here shooting up dope 2 days ago." That doesn't work because it's done. It's over. They're gone. Obviously, they're not there 2 days later. Donate the food and clothes to the nonprofits that are providing the outreach, providing our tent, providing the homeless with the resources, that aren't charging them, that are giving them the needs that they need. Make sure we're donating to the folks. The new provider, His Way. His Way is at 555 Industrial. It's the same place where the tent has always been. It hasn't changed. It's just a different provider. His Way is out there now. They are the ones running it, and you're welcome to bring anything out there. Go talk to them. Talk to them if you want to feed, you want to come out and you want to participate, you want to do a meal. This is where you come talk to His Way. Before I get into questions, back one more slide here. The fire chief would like to speak on behalf of. You want this one? Let me give this one. What is another one?
Testing. Okay, thank you. I'm Fire Chief David Marks, and before we move on to questions, I just wanted to talk about our warming and cooling center, which a lot of people aren't really aware of. We do advertise it on social media. We get it in the newspaper as often as we can. But for those of you who aren't aware, anytime it's over 104 degrees, this building right here, and depending on the city's ability, we sometimes have had it at the senior center, but for the last year or so, it's been here at the transit center. So if it's over 104, this building will be open to anybody, homeless or not, to come in and get out of the cool or out of the heat. It's open from 1 o'clock till 9 o'clock in the evening. If no one's here by 6 o'clock, we usually shut down. Historically, we have had very limited amount of people coming, but this last heat wave, we had upwards of 25 people a day in here. So it has been utilized much more. In the winter, now that we're moving into the cooler months, same thing. If it's less than 31 degrees, we will open up either this facility or the senior center, and it will be overnight. It's usually from about 8 in the evening to 7 o'clock in the morning. We do have limited capacity because we only have so many cots. We have tried to make accommodations for pets at the animal shelter, and that's based on capacity. So if there's no room there, then we can't hold your pets because we can't allow them in this building. So we do everything we can to accommodate people that need to get out of the elements. If you have any questions, you can contact the fire department and we can answer them. And like I said, it's always posted on the city website, on Facebook, all the social media sites. And usually if we know ahead of time, we get it in the newspaper. And we use our forecasting. We use a weather app called AccuWeather, and we go by the real feel. So it may actually only be 101 out, but if the real feel temperature, which is what it actually feels like, is 104 or greater, we will open. So just so you guys know, that's available to everybody. And we've been doing that for about 7 or 8 years, I believe, consistently. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Dave. Or Chief, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't think about that. The warming and cooling center is open, so that was good. They did have a great turnout the last go around. They don't have to go to the tent. They don't want to come here. That's a great point. I didn't think about that. Should add that in my slideshow, or Vielka's slideshow. We'll blame this one on Vielka. So we'll go to questions. Before I do start the questions, though, I want to give my phone number out. Anybody that wants to call me. It's not my personal phone number, so don't think you're going to call me at home and ask me a police question. It'll be my work cell phone. It's 209-595-9779. It is on. If I don't answer my phone, it's on 24 hours a day in my office at work. If I'm not working, if I'm working, it is on me. You're welcome to call me, text it, ask a question. I will get back to you when I get in. That number is not to report a crime. That number is not to call me and say, I have an issue over here. That is just a number if you need some resources to deal with a homeless encampment, if you have a question about a resource. But when it comes to reporting a crime, you need to call our dispatch and advise them of the crime. I have no problem talking to people, but I have to have my home time as well. So please call me on that number if you have any questions. So we'll go to questions. Does anybody? I don't think anybody here. Anybody here have any questions? Of course. Oh, hold on. Let me get the microphone right here. Hold on. I got to put this loud on the speaker here.
Mike, have you thought about putting signs downtown saying, please, if you want to help with food and the location so that people who want to help know where to go and know where they should be going?
That's a good question. We've been doing this for quite some time. I've met with a lot of organizations and groups, and honestly, some of them just absolutely refuse and tell me they're going to feed in the parks anyway. That's why we went back to help versus hurt. We think it's helping. We want to be nice. We're thinking we need to feed them, but we want to encourage them to go get the resources. So it's not just food. Food is just going to entice them to go over and get a shower, some clean clothes, and then, like I said, who knows? You know, we all feel better after a long, hard day at work and we take a nice, clean shower. You start thinking differently. So that's the mindset behind that. We can't force anybody to not feed somebody. I mean, we're not trying to be mean, but we want to go try to explain here is it's help versus hurt. You know, we're really hurting them, enabling them to stay in one location because people are bringing them food. I worked a Saturday one day and I counted 5 different people that came and fed within probably a 4 or 5 hour period. Most of that food into the trash anyway, because there was just so much food that nobody can eat that much food. So.
No, I agree. If you walk downtown on a Sunday morning, you'll see trays of food that people will bring them from a party that, you know, they had extra. As well as now that, you know, if you walk in the evening, you'll see Grubhub deliveries on closed doors because mom who lives somewhere said, hey, I'll leave you some food over at X location.
Right, and it happens. I don't know if it's really putting signs up saying don't feed the homeless would be probably appropriate. Yeah, and that's kind of what this is about, trying to get it out here, get it on in the newspaper, social media, trying to educate people. I educate people in the park. I'll go talk to them. If I see somebody feeding in the park, I'll go speak to them and ask them, hey, you go to the resource center, you go down there. I try to direct them down there. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, some people are going to do it and some are just going to do their own thing. And that's why we want to really emphasize the difference between help and hurting and keeping the problem going. So I know some people disagree with that, but it is what it is. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen people that like, you're going to leave and go get food, or like I said, just sit there uncomfortably and have people bring it to them. Any other questions? Oh, hold on, you need a mic. Hold on. You need a mic. All right. We got an online question.
Okay, so the first question that came through, don't have a name, but just Motorola Moda G Stylist. Question is, who is the point of contact for any program or volunteering? How can they get a hold of someone, and where do we need to go?
You can start with me. My cell phone number is 209-595-9779. We're working on a contact. We have a group that was meeting. We kind of just haven't really met in a month or so. It's been a little while with Cecily and Doug, and so we're going to get back into that, and we should hopefully have a team for that. So if somebody immediately needs a contact, go ahead and give me a call on my cell phone. Any other questions?
So one other question. This is from Kenneth White. It says, is there any type of help for the people around the library park? As a business who operates a California licensed facility, we continue to have issues with the people at the park, and they leave on our facility. Additionally, we are reporting current issues to the dispatch at the police department, and we have had several rude interactions, basically making us feel like we're wasting their time calling them because there's nothing they are going to do.
Well, the downtown is a very hot spot. I'm sorry that you feel that maybe somebody was rude. I can't speak on behalf of who showed up there, but I can assure you it wasn't me. I'm not saying call me, call our dispatch still, but if you see a crime or if there's a crime, you need to report it. Report it to the police department. It is our job to handle calls for service. Our job is to make sure we're handling those calls. The resources are pretty heavy through the downtown. Every outreach, every Tuesday, whether it's the faith-based or the services, the first thing we do is we hit the library. My job, part of my other job that I do every day at 6 a.m., I'm downtown making sure everybody's up and moving and following the rules of the downtown and make sure they're not violating any laws. It's not against the law to be homeless over there in the park. It is against the law to do drugs, drink, and do some of the other stuff that's being done, but that is addressed when we see it, and it is we do handle those jobs as well.
No further questions.
All right. Mayor, would you like to say something, Mayor? Come on, you. No, the mayor has a question.
I get all the time, Mike, a question, what happens when they're doing a crime? So my basic question is, if a homeless individual is doing a crime, what do you do with that individual?
What do I do, or what should the public do?
No, what the police department do with them? In other words, do you just move them on if they're doing something serious?
It depends on the violation.
Yeah.
So you at the city attorney's office here that can contest to citations are being, the city attorney's office here, they can contest to citations get written for shopping cart violations. They handle all of our municipal code violations. And then if there's a criminal case, a penal code violation, it gets sent over to the district attorney. So if we do deal with the crimes, depending on what it is, if it's somebody sleeping or camping and Do we give them a warning and move them along? Yeah, that happens. Somebody pushing a shopping cart that I've never seen before, do I educate them and tell them what the law is and educate them? Yeah, we try to educate people before we just come in. We're not just coming out here and trying to cite and take everybody to jail on this. We're trying to educate them of what the laws are. If I'm giving a guy a citation for a shopping cart every day, then it's going to be dealt with. It's going to be dealt with appropriately. But we are dealing with it, and do we give breaks? Yeah, we give warnings occasionally. We just like speeding. You know, we don't cite every person that we pull over for speeding. We give breaks, and I've had a break speeding too.
Yeah, and that's my basic question. You know, you guys don't ignore them. You do what you can with them. You manage them. You work with them. You give them breaks just like any other normal person on the street.
Correct.
Thank you.
Hi, David Nafusi, City Attorney. I didn't mean to speak, but because Mike did recognize us being here, I did want to take a moment just to acknowledge the hard work in the Municipal Code Enforcement Prosecution Department in my office, and that's Daniela Green, our Deputy City Attorney, and Bielka Gracio, our legal admin. They have revised the process, working closely with PD over the last few months. In fact, I think Daniela had 34 cases in 42 cases in one court appearance last week. She also had, was it 2 appearances last Friday? Is that correct? The 8:30 calendar and the 1:30 calendar? Right. So, and that was on her day off. So this is something that we do take seriously. We look at things on a case-by-case basis. Danielle, I don't know if you, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you have anything to add, just to kind of based on the hard work you guys have been doing, I think it might be worth sharing.
So hi, I'm Daniela Green. I'm the Deputy City Attorney for Manteca. And like David said, Bielka and I have been working hard to kind of revamp our code enforcement prosecution. And part of what I do is I review every citation and make sure that there is actually enough to prosecute on these citations. And if there's not, then we move to dismiss, because we also cannot have a problem prosecuting someone for a crime that isn't valid. The other goal with our code enforcement prosecutions in terms of our persons experiencing homelessness is not necessarily to send them to jail, and we want to be very clear with that. We have a lot of persons experiencing homelessness that have other issues, be that mental health issues or drug addiction issues, and many of them do have different resources available to them. For example, many are veterans, or they might have other kind of mental health opportunities available through the county. So part of what our goal is sometimes when people are not helping themselves and availing themselves of the opportunities that are coming to them, sometimes we bring them into court, and any sentencing ruling or recommendation I make, a judge can actually overrule and decide to send someone into a diversion program. So with some of our persons experiencing homelessness, that is our goal. We don't want to see them sit in jail, because that doesn't really change their life or put them on the right path. I had one defendant, she was in court Friday and Monday, and she was screaming at the top of her lungs and was just totally beside herself Friday. By Monday, she was a little bit better, but not totally. So there's only so much that the court system can do to help people, but now with the innovation in collaborative courts and with many city attorney and county offices prosecuting these kind of crimes, we're working hard to make sure that we're actually helping the problem, not just punishing the problem.
Thanks for clarifying that, because that's exactly said it much better than I did. But I've been out with the district attorney. I've been out with our city attorneys, and we went out on the streets and I've shown them what some of our really top people are doing wrong, and we've come up with solutions on trying to address it. We have a few individuals that are just going to not play nice, and they're being addressed. Our goal isn't to put them in jail. Our goal is to write tickets, to be able to arrest them, to be able to hopefully get them into a program that they need to be in. So when we write these tickets and they're prosecuting them, our goal is not just to like, we want to send everybody to jail. Our goal is to hopefully some of these people we can rehabilitate and get them to mental health. We have one that we're working with closely that he has a lot of services, but he is just leave it at that. He's a difficult one to deal with, and we've been dealing with it. So the goal is, like I said, to get this gentleman some help, hopefully off the streets that way.
Mike, can you tell us some of the positive things that have happened that you've accomplished with the homeless?
Let's see, today's payday. No, I'm just kidding. It is payday actually, but we've gotten a lot of people off the streets. And like I said, again, it's not even just about what Mike Kelly's done or what just our city has done. It's about everybody pulling together. I have a great group of people. You know, like I said, like we have the city attorney's office now. We work together. I have been working closely with Tony, the city manager back here, who's kind of hiding back there. And she wants to share as well, but we have a really good team. So our team has been very, very successful. And like I said, it's because of a team, not because of one person.
So just Mayor, I'm going to touch on a couple accomplishments, and I feel really loud right now. Am I loud?
No.
Okay, how about here? Turn me down. Okay, let's try this. Oh, that's better. Yeah. So I'm just going to touch on a couple accomplishments, and I think Mike stated a little bit about this here at City Hall. We homelessness, we kind of tackle in a team approach way. So there's multiple different departments working on homelessness every single day here in the city. It's not just Mike, it's the entire city, from solid waste to Parks and Recreation, to the city attorney's office, to fire, to PD, to even the city manager's office. And I'll say, you know, in our community, this is a really tough situation. We are trying to take some different approaches, but I'll share something I think I'm really proud of is we just obtained state funding for $16 million to build a homeless navigation center here in Manteca. And I'll be honest with you, this isn't something the city is going to be able to do by itself. It's going to require a lot of partnerships. It's going to require a lot of community support. It's going to require this team approach. And not only did we receive a state appropriation, but we also received a federal earmark for $750,000 to be put towards this project and services. And I really think that this is going to be instrumental to us really helping our homeless population here in this community. And one other thing I would like to state is, I know there's a lot of false information being put out on social media about homelessness and what we're doing or what we're not doing or how we should be doing it. And like I said, it's a sensitive subject, and it's one of those things that we're kind of learning day by day as we work with it. And look, it's not black, it's not, you know, it's not a one shop fits all. It's ever changing daily. And so one thing that I am committed to getting going over the next couple months is we're going to be doing some community outreach and workshops, kind of education, Q&As. We'll be doing them at different times of the day, maybe even some weekends. And we'll have our team of staff that will be open and available to the community to maybe clear up some of the misinformation that's out there. And then the last thing I'd like to state is that I think is a really big accomplishment. And if you live in this community, it's something you really should be proud of. You have a very dedicated group of city staff that really want better. We really, really care. We're passionate about it. You know, we take this personal. Beyond our work schedule, we dedicate a lot of time and effort to really make this community a safe place and help some of, you know, our vulnerable population here in the city. So just a few things. Thanks, Mike, for all you do. Thanks for Vielka and the team that put this together today. Monica, I liked your idea about maybe getting some stuff, more word out about people dropping off food in the park. So we actually are going to do some social media education from some of the stuff that was presented today, and kind of work to get some more information out beyond this summit. So thanks for sharing that. I'm going to pass it back to you, Mike. I want to turn it up now, Nafusi.
So
one of the other things I wanted to draw attention to, just because I know that sometimes it's tough to talk about accomplishments, but Mike and Tony were integral in helping to start the Quality of Life Committee at the city. It's a group that meets monthly of several different representations from many departments. It includes Mike and some others from PD. It includes our fire marshal. It includes fire. It includes code enforcement. It includes my office. It includes public works. It includes development services. And we update each other and talk about what's going on. And we take a team and collaborative approach to these issues. I think before this, at times, departments would try to handle things kind of in silos. But here, we've really taken a collective approach over the past few months. A good example of on coming up with a program for local businesses to help them on terms of how to set their security cameras up to capture things in the best way that can be helpful for PD, whether it's to catch, a potential arsonist or someone going into their trash, et cetera. So kind of working on that and kind of working with the community. Problematic properties throughout the city. Again, we're kind of taking a collaborative approach and kind of coming at it from many different angles instead of doing it. I think the one thing, Mike, that I think I would say that you really accomplished in the answer to the mayor's question is bringing on a team approach. It's not just you, but you've really believed in that and have been passionate about it. And we thank you for that.
One more thing I think is a really big accomplishment. I just want to give a shout out to His Way. And seriously, they stepped up in a very, very short period of time. They're rooted in this community. They do a lot of wonderful things, and they have been really good partners with us. And from where I sit, I'm very grateful. We've been really excited about this partnership, and I see nothing but good things and growth happening here into the future. So thank you all for what you do. Cecily, thank you for what you do. We are fortunate to have you and your services in our community. So I really think the future is bright, even though this is a very controversial, touchy subject. But I think the good thing is, as the city, we're open to hear your suggestions. We're open to hear your ideas. We don't claim to be the best at all that we do. Look, sometimes we make mistakes along the way, but I think the main point about this is we do care and we do want our community to be a safe place. And that's very, very important to us. So thank you.
Put the microphone up to you.
Part of a city as I do right now in this community, everybody's input does matter. When you think it doesn't, it does. We want everybody to come in to help at the tent. We're open to anything. The team that we are working with. It's amazing how much everybody's taking.
We appreciate it. Pastor, I wasn't kidding when I knocked on your front door that morning.
No,
I really did show up at their front door and
yeah,
say, what do you guys think? And all of a sudden, 8 hours later, they were saying yes. So
yeah, that night others are listening. Size 38, 2, 4, 6, and 8 for men only.
$32, $4, $6, and $8 men's pants.
I'm not a 32. I got no extra pants for you. Just take these ones. Just take these ones.
I see we have questions online, so I just want to ask you real quick. The business of homelessness. You go to Library Park, there is a huge business out there, and that is the drug business. We know that drug addicts will do anything to get their fix. Well, if they can't get their fix in Manteca, they're going to move on to a different city. And you can't, if any of you go out, park your car, go to that library, park, somebody's going to ask you if you want something. Somebody's going to be waiting for you to make eye contact with them so that you can buy them. It doesn't matter what you look like, because all walks of life go there. So how do we stop the business of being a great place and easy to access drugs?
Again, if you have a and have our dispatch have an officer respond out there. I mean, we can't stop everything in this world. I mean, there's crime, there's stuff that happens, but if you see something, you need to report it. I mean, going back to the basics, we have to report it. We don't know, we can't really do anything about it. There is a camera in the park, but I mean, cameras only catch so much of the park. Do you think the homeless in the park don't know where the cameras are at? They're smarter than that, trust me. We have a
Okay,
question?
I have a follow-up question from Kenneth White. It says, I also completely understand that the bathrooms at the library park continue to be messed up, but is there any way to get facilities for people to use the restrooms? We continue to have to clean up urine and feces from our facility steps, walls, and walkways.
And that's a great question. We had a meeting with library staff yesterday, Brandy Clark and myself. We are going to present to the city manager that we want to try to hopefully get the porta potties back out there because the bathrooms are up and down so frequently. We're hoping to get some porta potties back out there so that we can get the bathrooms used again. So we are talking about that. So that is.
Okay, I just have two comments on here from Kenneth White and the Motorola Moto, just showing appreciation to Officer Kelly and everything that you're doing. They appreciate what it is that you're committing to the community and the volunteers.
You know, I'm very passionate about what I'm doing out here. I started this when I first started this. I was part of our union, our association. I'm part of the POA now, but I was part of our other union when I first started this. Most people don't know. I used to go take gifts and stuff to needy kids. I'd take presents and stuff, and I would take my kids out to these kids and kind of show my kids what it was like not to have any. Well, I ran across a family, and they were homeless. They were living on the back trailer of this mobile home park over here. They had a tarp around the front porch of where they were living at. So I got them in a motel room. I gathered some people up together. We got a motel. Make a long story short, fast forward about 30 days later, they promised they would never do this again and they would keep these kids upright or they would call me. I got a phone call from the kids one day and they said, hey, Officer Kelly, when are you going to come pick us up? What are you talking about? So I took those 3 kids into my house for about 6 months. So I do care what I do out here on the streets. There's a reason why I do this job and why I've been successful because I do put a lot into this.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I've been working with St. Vincent de Paul since 1985 and working as homelessness and so on. But the thing about it is, and I know we're all doing good work, you know, charities, but the homeless you will have always with me, somebody said one time, right? And so the homeless people, the poor, you will always have with me, somebody said a long time ago. So really what we're looking at and should be looking at, all of us, and I have to give kudos to the city, affordable housing. That is the case. About a month ago, there was an editorial in the San Francisco Chronicle about homelessness, and the main thing that came out is homelessness need affordable housing. Unless you have affordable housing, there is really a continuing of homelessness. We at St. Vincent de Paul, we're trying to keep people in their home, so we're giving them rent stuff, but that's about it. So I have to give kudos to the city that we're looking now at the navigation center, which truly is a pathway from homelessness to affordable housing. That is probably one of the best tools that you have for homelessness. And you know, if the city has $16 million, and if we're going to move that navigation center to another location, would we have the $60 million still available? So that's my question. Would that happen? But otherwise than that, affordable housing, the city is working on it. Inclusionary housing, that's the way to go for affordable housing. All the cities in the Bay Area are doing it. We're doing it. We're hoping to do that here in the city.
Yeah, I can't really speak too much on affordable housing. I think Tony's going to speak about it, but I know there is good work being done. There's stuff being addressed, but that's not my forte. But
So I can answer that question. So I don't see the site changing. We have complete council's consensus to move forward with 682. I feel like I say this pretty regularly. And no, the money isn't transferable to my knowledge. So it's happening there. And the site will also include an affordable housing project. And one thing I can also mention is our next council meeting, we are looking at implementing an affordable housing fee, which will drastically change how we look at affordable housing here in our community. And one thing I do want to point out, because I think there's really a false understanding about affordable housing, is we already have affordable housing complexes in our town. Juniper Apartments is a prime example. And if you drive by that, you have no idea that that's even affordable housing complex. And to be honest, because of the state standards of affordable housing, that complex is kept a lot nicer than some of our other privately owned complexes here in town. So I think there's a big false understanding. I think affordable housing can actually revitalize an area. It can clean it up. It's nice. There are standards to the affordable housing. And then one other piece I would like to add is, and that I'm grateful for, is the council this budget year supported the city manager's office to put in a homeless and housing manager position into our budget. And Monday, I will have wrapped up the interviews. Excuse me. We have some really great candidates that have a lot of experience in homeless and housing. So like I said, I really feel like the future's bright. I think we're really setting up a great team to accomplish some of these projects here in the future in the city. So hopefully that was helpful.
all right, if there's nothing else, there's no more questions online, no more questions here. We'll go ahead and call it. I really want to thank everybody for coming and taking the time out of your day. Even the people that are online that were watching this, I want to thank everybody. I know it takes time to come in and do this stuff, and it takes time away from your jobs, your personal life, whatever. But I really want to thank everybody because, again, it takes everybody together. We have to work together to make this work. So thank you very much.